And we're back, and let's start with number 13 because that's where we left off. What does the Catholic Church teach about other religions? Are all religions equal? Are other religions wrong? Hint, elephant. The reason I give you the hint, elephant, is because if you remember notes 5, where's notes 5? There's notes 5. What about other religions? Remember, I told you this story about the 3 blind guys that go walking through the woods and they come across a thing they're not sure what it is. He thinks it's a rope. He thinks it's a wall. He thinks it's a snake. And of course, they found an elephant, but they don't know that because they have a limited capability to see the whole elephant, just like humans have a limited capability of seeing all of God because God is infinite. However, what if a zookeeper came who could see all of the elephant and knew all about the elephant and could tell them, hey guys, what you have there is an elephant. And you got the tail, you got the trunk, you got the back. That's why you thought it was that way. They'd have, even though they can't see it themselves, they would have a much better understanding of what God is like. Okay, so in this metaphor, the elephant is God, the zookeeper is Jesus, and that's how Christians see it, is that we are able to know the fullness of the truth about God, not because we're special or have better sight than other people or better understanding than other people, but because we listen to the guy who knows about the elephant, who we know about. We listen to Jesus, who knows about God, and is able to tell us about it. So that's how we're able to have a more full understanding. So from the Catholic perspective, all religions contain some truth. Even people who worship Satan, it's true that Satan exists. Okay, it's true that God exists. So even a little bit there is true. Now, most religions contain more truth than that. But the Catholic Church teaches that the Church contains the fullness of truth, meaning the most truth. Like if this is a bullseye with arrows, the Catholic Church is like the closest one to the bullseye. And other ones, they're not like totally off the target. They're just like kind of not as close to the bullseye. And probably most churches think that about themselves. Otherwise, why would you believe that church if you didn't think it was the most right? So the church does teach that non-Christians can still be saved by Christ. I don't know if you remember Jesus' parables of the 2 sons where he says to the one son, go and work in my vineyard. And he says, sure, I'll go do it. But then he never does. And then he says to the other son, go and work in my vineyard. And he says, no, I won't. But then later on he goes and he does it. And he says to the temple priests, who actually did his father's will? And they say the second one. And he says, in the same way, there are prostitutes getting into the kingdom of God before you, because even though you talk the talk, you don't walk the walk. And whereas they have heard the message and have changed their lives around. So we get this idea that there are some people who are nominal Christians, being Christians in name only, and there are other people who are anonymous Christians who have unknowingly followed Christ in their heart, even if they haven't followed Christ with their words or necessarily with what they believed. If you read page 47 in your Catholic Faith Handbook, it talks about this in the little sidebar thing. Also, I have a little excerpt here from one of the last chapters of The Last Battle by C.S. Lewis. It's one of the Chronicles of Narnia books, where it kind of has a cool little story that has to do with somebody from another religion still being saved by Christ because they did follow Christ in their heart. All right, and back up to here. We've talked about some of this stuff already. A vocation is a calling from God. We're going to move through this kind of quick because a lot of these we mentioned already. Okay, a saint is a person of extraordinary holiness. Also, we call the people in heaven saints. Sometimes we refer just to any Christian as a saint, but most of the time we refer to a person who's an extraordinary holy example for us as a saint. The Union of the Catholic Apostolate. This is an organization that was founded by St. Vincent Pallottine. He didn't found just a group of priests or just a group of nuns. He wanted something for everyone. That's why it's called the Union. It's for everybody. And it's for everyone to be an apostle. That was one of his main messages, okay, which is why we call our retreat leaders here at Pallottine Union leaders. The laity are people who are not like priests and nuns. They're just like the normal people of the church. We've talked about this, the school motto for the infinite glory of God, ad infinitum Dei gloria. Heaven is a state of perfect communion with God, the angels, and the saints, those who are saved. Hell is a state of self-chosen isolation from God and others, and purgatory is a temporary place or process of purification and penance before entering, the perfection of heaven. These are the years of St. Vincent Pallottines' lifespan, 1795 to 1850. You don't need to know the days and the months, just the years. And the kingdom of God, again, is the reign of God where God's in charge. And the mission Jesus started and gave to the church was to continue building the kingdom of God here on earth. I'll capitalize church. The resurrection is what happens to us, hopefully, assuming we're saved, at the second judgment. We'll receive our glorified bodies just like Jesus did. We read that passage from Philippians where it talks about that. Philippians 3. And then the first judgment is when you die, your soul meets God, you go to heaven, hell, or purgatory, your body goes in the ground. The second or final judgment happens at the end of time when Christ returns. He judges everyone who's still living, everyone who is saved or resurrected get their glorified bodies. The kingdom of God is fully established. The new heavens and the new earth come together as husband and bride. We read that Bible passage too from Revelation right here. And then there's this awesome, perfect communion between heaven and earth, and everyone there is resurrected, and it's an awesome, wonderful thing, and the kingdom of God is fully established. Man, I can't wait. That's going to be really great and awesome. I wish you luck on your test. If you have any issues, come see me or email me. Make sure you get your notebook in order. Make sure you pick an option for what you're going to talk about on your essay. If you're doing one of the challenges, like option 2, make sure you look through all the warm-ups in your notes so you know what good Bible passages to work with. There's a couple good warm-ups we did that have great passages for this. Also, the How Are We Saved homework. If you're doing option 3 and you're trying to come up with one of your own, you might want to run that by somebody just to make sure it makes sense. So a parent or brother or sister or me. Good luck. Adios. I'll see you in class.